In refugee camps and informal settlements, energy is mostly needed for water provision and food preparation, and in particular for cooking and preservation. Moreover, energy is also fundamental for other purposes, such as lighting. If we focus on cooking, the most common practices are based on the use of traditional fuels such as firewood or charcoal. Firewood is burned in three stone fires, like the one in this picture. The efficiency of this system is very low, causing a high consumption of fuel and the emission of large quantities of smoke, which means particulate matter, carbon monoxide and other pollutants that often cause pneumonia and other diseases. Charcoal, as well, is burned using traditional stoves like the one we can see in the second picture. Moreover, the traditional method that it is in general used for producing the charcoal, starting from wood, is characterized by very low efficiency. As a consequence, when considering also the production phase, in some cases, cooking with charcoal can consume even more resources than the three-stone fire. As per food preservation, the lack of technologies is coupled to a lack of energy. As a consequence, when refrigeration or other methods are not adopted, high environment temperature and humidity fasten the process of degradation. The natural moisture in many foods can become a breeding ground for organisms like bacteria and fungi, which can be harmful if eaten. The consequent food losses worsen a situation of fuel scarcity already critical by itself. The lack of preservation may therefore contribute to chronic malnutrition. Let's now focus on the issue of access to water for cooking and for drinking. A lack of energy acts as a barrier to water treatment and in particular to water sterilization. Untreated water is one of the main causes for the spread of many diseases such as diarrhea or cholera in refugee camps or internally displaced person settlements, and more in general in large areas of developing countries. On the other hand, energy supply is essential to power pumps in order to guarantee the supply of water. Regarding energy for lighting, one of the most common practices is again to use a three-stone fire. On the other hand, kerosene lamps are largely diffused as well. But the solution causes the emission of smoke and exposes people, and in particular children, to the risk of burnings. In other cases, electricity is available from the grid, but people can't afford it or is not entitled to use it. For these reasons, informal access to electricity is a common practice, which means getting electricity through an illegal connection. In the figure you can see the typical result of this practice. This kind of installation increases the risk of electric shock, short circuit and fire. Many times, the lack of access to energy is also due to a lack of knowledge of people regarding alternative sources whose use is not considered. A first example is energy from waste. Both organic waste from agriculture, feedstock, and food processing, and dry biomass residuals such as bagasse can be turned into cooking fuels. A second example is a simple exploitation of sunlight. Solar radiation can be successfully used for drying food using solar dryers, for keeping foods refrigerated, taking advantage of evaporation, as you can see in the figure, and also for simple water purification processes, like the one showed in this scheme. Lastly, electricity can be locally produced through the exploitation of one or more renewable sources. Small renewable energy systems provide safe and reliable power supply for lighting, refrigeration, water pumping, and other important services.